Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day, and we sure appreciate you guys coming on with us. And as per our custom, we want to say hello to a few folks this morning. Okay, as they come on, who is number one? Mike, Eric, good morning. Are you back home? Manette. And Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, Nativity, good morning. And Mary, how is you? And Kevin, Oshawa. And Brahim, how are you, buddy? And Linda, oh, how we love those Lindas. Nick from our staff. And Jerry, Nouveau Brunswick. Madeleine, Kipawa. Jeanette, our staff, good morning. Deb Timmons, Wendy, Markham, Marilyn, Kelowna. Hey, we're praying for you guys out in Kelowna there. Jerry, how are you? Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Cheryl, Corrine, and who did I just miss? Diane, how are you? Eleanor, Sandy, Vancouver, Washington. Chantal, bonjour. Andrea, bonjour. Nouveau Brunswick. Diane, good morning from LaSalle. Gloria, New York. And Sue, Brockville. And Helga, good morning. Sharon, Digby. And Ruth Ann, how are you? Linda, good morning. And Francis, thanks for coming on. Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Yvonne, how are you? And Cindy, Mary, and Joanne, how are you? Donna, Park Hill, and Jan, good morning. And Nina, Chatham, Kent, Guylaine, Hurst, Ontario. Bonjour. Fran. Let me see. Crystal. Nellie. I don't want to miss anybody, but I sure do miss a lot. Leela. Couple of more here, guys. We're going to get going. Bobby. And Victoria. Good morning. We love you guys so much. Susan. And hey, Kevin says the sun just popped out. Wanda, Virginia, Anne, how are you? And Deanna, Cornwall, Marg, and Carol, West Virginia, Beverly from Newfoundland, Denise from Oakville, Rosa, Montreal. Okay, let's get going, guys. Okay, so yesterday, this is part 2. Yesterday, we talked about cardiologists. A few of them are really getting in tune. They're having a paradigm shift. And they're starting to look at insulin as being a huge factor in heart disease. Okay? And insulin is the opposite of what they thought, because if you talk to a cardiologist and they're training in medical school, and they go to school for a long time, their training is the bad guy is cholesterol. Cholesterol clogs up arteries. It's like a hose, and you gotta pinch in the hose because of cholesterol. And I'm not optimistic that that's going to change at all, but there are some that are really waking up to, they've been looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay? Now, one cardiologist said this, let me repeat it. This is a drum I beat louder and louder, our glucocentric paradigm of metabolic health. Okay? So, if you talk to a cardiologist, they would agree that diabetics have way more heart disease than the average population. And as a matter of fact, recent research says 80% of mortality in diabetics. Look, a diabetic is much more susceptible to cancer, much more susceptible to Alzheimer's, but even topping that out, 80% of mortality in diabetics. When a diabetic dies, what do they die of? They die of heart disease or stroke. 80% of diabetics die of heart disease, not cancer, even though they're more susceptible to getting cancer than the average population. And we can look into that, and I can tell you why. But guys, this is really important, okay? Really important. Now, before I continue on, I want to talk about insulin resistance for a minute, okay? So yesterday we talked about your body is so smart, okay? Your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. If you think that just happened, I don't know what to say to you. There's a designer. Unbelievable. Your body tightly regulates blood sugar. And the way it does that is through insulin. Okay? Insulin. Now, what is insulin resistance? And what does it have to do with heart disease? Well, we're going to get into that today. Okay? Now, before I start, and I'll go through this while we speak this morning. What causes insulin resistance? You guys know the answer, but if you're new to this program, I want to explain it again. What causes insulin resistance? Nothing compares to food, because insulin is a food hormone. And resistance comes because the average person is secreting insulin all day long. The average person. Your body's not made for that. When you eat crappy carbs and sugars, remember insulin's job. It's the traffic cop. Hey, sugar, can't stay there. A piece of bread turns to sugar rapidly. Pasta, rice, cereals, sugar, sweets, pastries, juice, milk, grocery store. Muffins, cakes, bagels. People start in the morning when they eat the wrong thing. Well, bacon and eggs give you cholesterol, Dr. Martin. I know. Good. Cholesterol's not the problem. Insulin's the problem. And when it's secreted all day long, pretty well. Okay, remember, okay? You just had, let's say you just had a bagel at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay? A lot of people choose that. Or they had a bowl of cereal. Yeah, but Dr. Martin, it's Cheerios. There's a heart on the box. Yeah, because you're going to have a heart attack if you eat it. Don't look at that like that's an endorsement of food. When you see a heart on the box, run, because you're going to have a heart attack when you eat it. They don't tell you that, but that's what happens. That stuff turns to sugar in nanoseconds, plus then they add sugar. So what happens? Your body has no choice you insist on eating like that, your pancreas, okay, and I always describe the pancreas as a pen, okay? Remember, I'm a visual guy. So take out a ballpoint pen, see? And because that's the size of your pancreas. Where does it sit? Right underneath your stomach, okay? Got it? You got the anatomy? Okay. People don't think of their pancreas unless they get pancreatitis, unless they get pancreatic cancer. And by the way, those things are skyrocketing today. What used to be rare is skyrocketing today. Back to your pancreas. It's the size of a pen. Okay? And number two, okay, again, for visual purposes, you got ink in the pen, right? You got ink. In your pancreas, you got insulin. So you had a bad breakfast. Doctors and cardiologists would say, oh, you had a good breakfast. You had Cheerios. Okay? And, but it's not good because now you need an enormous amount of insulin. So the pancreas is secreting insulin. And it needs to do it for a long time because it's got to take the sugar that was made from that food and the sugar that was added. And what did I tell you yesterday? Sugar cannot park in the bloodstream. Your body knows that. It's not moderation. Sugar can't park in the bloodstream. So your pancreas secretes insulin, and insulin says, you come here now. Can't park there. No parking zone. Out, out, out. And insulin takes sugar and parks it. Okay? In your muscles, that's why I tell you to get strong, because these help you metabolically. Big time. You're making bins, a place for sugar to get stored. To your liver. Okay? And how does sugar get stored in your liver? Glycogen, fat. And then when there's no more room in the liver, what does your body do? What does insulin do? It creates fat cells. Guys, I want to rest my case in case you're arguing with me. Look at the world today. Look at the size of people today. What happened? What happened? Is cholesterol making people obese? No. It's sugar. It's carbs, crappy carbs. And it makes things grow. Insulin is a growth hormone. Okay? Now, pathophysiology. Pathophysiology. What's that mean? We're going to look at what insulin does. Insulin is your friend till it's not. Okay? Insulin is your friend. If you're eating right, insulin is the best thing that ever happened to you. It's your friend. It won't allow sugar in your bloodstream. Out. Okay, got that? Now, when does it become your enemy? When you're secreting insulin all day long pretty well. People don't realize, oh, I'm snacking, I'm hungry. Yeah, well, you're hungry because you ate the wrong food. You eat carbohydrates in the morning, you're going to be hungry. Because they burn, they're the wrong fuel. They burn like paper and twigs on a wood stove. So now you need insulin. Insulin's coming around all day long. Come out. And then what happens? Your cells tell insulin, you know what? I used to like you. I don't like you anymore. Have you ever had that happen in your life? I used to like you. Now I don't like you anymore. A bad neighbor comes around knocking all day long. Hey, what you doing? Hey, I'm busy. Get out of here. Have you ever had a bad neighbor that bugged you? You know, you thought it was going to be good until they never stopped coming around. Anybody know what I'm talking about? That's what happens. And now your cells go, I can't stand you. What are you doing? Why are you around me all the time? Get out. That's called insulin resistance or high circulating insulin. Okay? Or hyperinsulinemia. Okay. No, I like high circulating insulin or insulin resistance. Okay? Now, before I continue on, there's 3 things that can cause insulin resistance. Before I show you what insulin resistance does. Okay? Number 1, obviously, is bad food. Okay? People today, put your hand up. My name is Tony, and I'm a carboholic. Most people don't know that. They think they're eating all right. Dr. Martin, it's in moderation. I said, that's funny, because when I test you, you got insulin resistance. Couldn't have been in moderation. Well, it was moderation, but moderation, you're doing too much. Primary cause of insulin resistance, it's a food hormone, guys. Why do you think we have so much trouble? And I'm going to bring this back, honest. 2, stress. Do you know that you can take a healthy person with insulin sensitivity, meaning, okay, resistance is your cells going, ooh, I hate you. And sensitive goes, hey, insulin, I love you. I love you, insulin. You can come to my house anytime you feel like it. Okay, we call that insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance, you can take a healthy person, eats well, stress the living life out of them, and they'll develop insulin resistance. Holy moly. Why do you think I talk about stress all the time? It pours gasoline on the fire. Stress. You don't sleep, your stress goes up, cortisol. Your cortisol goes up, you don't sleep. But it pours gasoline on the fire of the 3rd thing I want to talk to you about, inflammation. Inflammation. Insulin resistance, okay, can come, and it's the chicken or the egg type of thing here. One thing we know, if you have autoimmune disease, your CRP is elevated, that's C-reactive protein. It's a measurement of inflammation. If you have inflammation, you get even more insulin resistance. And if you get insulin resistance, you create inflammation. It's one of the body's responses. So, elevated insulin, food, stress, and inflammation from autoimmune has an effect. Okay, now, all right, let's talk. Let's do some pathophysiology. Okay, meaning now, okay, what happens? What happens to your heart and blood vessels? 5 things. that I want to talk about. If you're taking notes, okay? You won't be tested. Well, you never know. I might give you a spot test, okay? No, just so that, look, guys, look, this is groundbreaking, guys. And if you get this, my audience, if you get this, we're in the 1% of the entire world that even knows these things. 1%. 99% of the population, including 99% of your physicians, they don't know anything about this. They don't. They've been hoodwinked. They've been duped. They've been told a lie and they bought it. Pathophysiology. What happens? How does this happen? 5 things. What happens with insulin resistance? Okay? Now, chronically elevated insulin, okay? It starts what they call an excessive growth of the heart. Remember, insulin's a growth hormone. Makes things grow. Now you get cardiomyopathy. I don't want to use big words. Dr. Martin, you got such a big heart. You know? And I know what you mean, but I don't want a big heart. Okay, do you know what I mean? Guys, if someone tells you you have a big heart, I like that. Okay? My staff, they have big hearts. But they don't have big hearts. What are you talking about? Okay. Look, they're sympathetic. Okay? That's a person who has a big heart. Okay? I've been accused of that. Dr. Martin, you got a big heart for people. I love people. I care. I care about you. I do. Okay? But I don't want a big heart physically. But what happens when your insulin is chronically elevated? You get a big heart. And when you get a big heart, your blood vessels, they don't get big, they get constricted. They don't relax. You see, what you want is your blood vessels. You want your heart to pump. Lean, mean, fighting machine, heart. Plus blood vessels that relax. They constrict, but then they relax. Whereas if you have chronic elevated insulin, your blood vessels are constantly in a constrictive state. What does that do? Elevates your blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure is bad news. It's bad news. Okay? So you get cardiomyopathy. The heart enlarges. That can, down the road, can give you what they call congestive heart failure. Boy, we see a lot of that today. Right? They got small muscles and a big heart. Small muscles and a big heart. That's a bad combination. Okay? So what happens? Heart enlarges. Blood vessels constrict. Okay? Got that? Okay? You don't want a big heart. 2, blood vessels become constricted, too narrow. They don't relax. 3, what's the third thing that happens? Okay? Heart, blood vessels, and then you get another whammo with elevated insulin. Your kidneys. the Niagara Falls of, right? Your kidneys. What do I call them? Niagara Falls. What happens at the kidney level? Why are diabetics in so much trouble? The kidneys are affected by insulin resistance. The kidneys hold on to water. And they hold on to salt. They hold on to it. Okay? And now you have a salt retention problem in the kidneys. What does that do? It's a double whammo on blood pressure. And remember, your blood vessels are hoses. And the first little hose that gets affected is capillaries, which is an attachment between your arteries and veins. They get damaged. That pressure inside the blood vessels makes little aneurysms. It you know what I mean? It makes little damages the blood vessels. So you have three things. Okay? You've got the growth of the heart, the constriction of blood vessels, and then even more constriction because the kidneys are affected. You have a salt retention problem. Don't blame salt for what sugar is doing. Don't blame salt. They blame salt. It's not salt, it's sugar. Now, then you got, what did I say? Fourthly, stress. Stress. Cortisol. We live in a crazy world. 3/4 of the population are seriously affected by stress. 75% just about don't even sleep properly. And the cascade of problems that comes from that. Stress pours gasoline on the fire of insulin resistance. Okay? We talked about it. Now, okay? And then you have inflammation. Okay? Insulin resistance, inflammation. Damage in the blood vessels, inflammation is in there. Is inflammation at the root of it? No, it's not at the root of it. It's insulin that comes first, guys. Okay? Insulin resistance comes first. And inflammation, okay? Inflammation is on your side if you have an infection. You want to have inflammation. It's your body's ambulance system. But what the body was never intended for, ever, was to get inflammation without infection. That could be a title of a book. Inflammation without infection. You don't, Doc, I don't have a virus or a bacteria or whatever. What do you mean I got inflammation? Well, elevated insulin causes inflammation. Inflammation seems to elevate your insulin resistance. Holy moly. How can you win? 5 things that go on. And cardiologists, some of them are getting it. They're getting the memo. And this is why, guys, this is why, okay? This is what I want you to do, okay? What do we do? What do you and I do? Well, one, obviously, The low-hanging fruit is what? What is the first thing that we do? Change your food. Change your food. Low-hanging fruit. And don't even eat the fruit. No, you can have some fruit after you do the reset. I can't overemphasize the importance of doing the reset, the 30-day program. Guys, if you just got to trust me, because I saw yesterday, someone was frustrated. They're doing the reset. They're not losing the weight that they want to lose. I get that. You're losing fat in your liver. Trust the process. You're emptying your liver. You're lowering all markers of inflammation. You're lowering insulin resistance. Trust that process. And you will, because you're eating so much protein, you're going to gain muscle. You're not going to lose muscle. Anything you lose will be fat loss, which is what you want. Trust the process. It's so good for everything. Pathophysiology here. We're looking at what destroys your heart and your blood vessels. Just that. Never mind cancer. Never mind whatever. If you do the reset and then you eat, not a no carb, but a low carb diet, your body will get the memo. You've changed fuels. You're now burning the right fuel. It's so stinking good for you. And guys, the more they study this, the more they look at the pathophysiology of what happens and how you get sick and how you get heart disease, my word, guys, I'm doubling down on the reset. I'm tripling down on it. Trust the process. You're lowering your triglycerides. You're elevating your cholesterol, your HDL cholesterol. It's exactly what you want to do for your heart. You're lowering all markers of inflammation. Start with food. It's the one thing you can control. Can't control everything. What if, Doc, you're in a stressful situation exactly? Well, there's a lot of ways to cope with stress and whatever, okay? Those are for other podcasts, guys. But I get it. We live in a crazy world. Everything's happened so fast. Okay? What can you do? Start with food. Start with food. Change. Understand. Understand that insulin. Okay? You get that, guys. Like I said, you're in the 1%. You're in the 1%. And you'll be in the 7% of people who are metabolically healthy. There's only 7%. Okay? It used to be 12. 12% of the population used to be healthy. It's down to 7. There's only 7% of the population that don't have metabolic syndrome. That's why you're so smart, guys. You got the memo. Stick to it. It's true, and the truth, what? Shall set you free. It's the truth. That's how it happens. Okay? Now, one more thing. Okay? I'll close with this. One more thing. You've got to get the blood test. Insist on blood test to test for this. Get me your A1C. If you get insulin, okay, insulin. You can measure it. But I like A1C. I like your triglycerides and HDL. Get me that. Get your CRP done. It'll tell you whether there's silent inflammation in your body. Get those tests done. That's very important, okay? And if doctors understood those tests, they wouldn't even question them. But again, I'm sorry, 1%. 99% of doctors don't even know what to test you for. Even cardiologists. Because they're looking at cholesterol. Okay, my watch is telling me to breathe. No, it's not, because I don't wear a watch that tells me to breathe. It'll bug me through the whole program. Okay? I don't want a watch telling me to breathe. Okay, guys. Friday's what? Question and answer Friday. Send your questions in, okay? Because we're going to have fun. We always do, okay? Guys, have you got your book? Okay? Get the book. Sun, Steak, and Steel. Number 1, numero uno on the hit parade of health books. Sun, Steak, and Steel. Thank you for made it so successful. Okay? And if you want to evangelize your family, give them a book. Okay, guys, we love you dearly. Talk to you soon.